You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 12th day of November, 2025. And my little brother's birthday. It's a sad day. My brother left this earth to go to his heavenly home, 5-6 years ago now. Yep. Anyway, thanks for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First one is private. That's for members only and those taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us at the top of the hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It's going to take about 3 minutes of your time. He'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow morning and will run all the way through next Tuesday afternoon. You get 5 consecutive trading days. The weekend does not count against you, and there's no credit card required. We want you to be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision at the end of your trial as to whether or not trading is right for you. Trading is not for everybody. I'm sorry. So, no money up front. Don't need your mother's maiden name, your first pet, none of the nonsense. Just take the trial. Not only will you gain access to the live training room 2 hours every trading day, but you'll have access to everything else we do the other 22 hours of the day. We go to work Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we work around the clock till Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. So again, top of the hour, Michael will walk you through the steps. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially begin tomorrow morning. And no credit card required. I want you to have a clear head, okay? I want you to be focused on what's being taught. All of the opportunities available to you, from the weekly trading zones, to the concierge trade alerts, to the Logic 247 alerts, everything. Everything a trader needs. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there'll be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, you just click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. That gives you access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop. Maybe it's the holidays, you're on vacation, visiting family, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen, you'll see our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. So we're going to dive right into our daily devotional. We're on, I think, now day 15 of 28. A very important topic, sharing your faith. Today's scripture, Ephesians 6, verses 19 through 20. And I'm going to share it from the NIV translation. Pray also for me, that whenever I speak, words may be given me, so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should. Now, when Paul wrote that, he literally was in chains. Our topic today, the courage to speak. Perhaps this has happened to you. An opportunity to talk to someone about Christ presents itself and you freeze. You aren't sure what to say and you're scared to speak. Afterwards, you feel like something is wrong with you. Certainly, strong Christians don't struggle with sharing their faith the way you do. Or do they? Paul experienced the same fears that we do. You can read about that in 1 Corinthians 2. That's one reason he enlisted others to pray for him. We would be wise to follow his example. We have two needs as we enter the spiritual journey of others. First, we need God to give us the words to share the gospel in a clear and relevant manner. Second, we need him to supply the courage to actually share it. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. Courage is the strength to act despite our fears. Think about Normandy, all the brave men that stormed that beach that day. You think they weren't scared? You better believe they were. But they had courage, so they did it anyway. If Paul needed prayer for boldness, guess what? So do we. Now, again, don't ever confuse courage with the absence of fear. I want to encourage you, enlist at least 3 other people to pray for you. Have them pray for courage to speak, as well as for open doors with others and clarity of speech. Let's pray. Lord, fill our hearts with courage to speak your truth with love and boldness. Give us words that honor you and the strength to stand firm even when it's difficult. Let our lives proclaim the mystery of the gospel with clarity, humility, and fearless faith. It's in Jesus' mighty name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Wednesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We shall start here in the U.S. with cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Then we'll go to the news, and then we'll go to the charts. Starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called, the Dow is up 352 points. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is down 152. S&P 500 is down 7. The Russell 2000 is down 1.5 points. Yes, once again, thanks to the Dow, we've got those mixed markets. We like to see them all the same color. All red or all green doesn't matter to us. As futures traders, we can be long, short, long again, all in the same hour if that's what the chart in front of us tells us to do. But when the markets are divided as they are yesterday and today, you get a bit of a tug of war going on. So you don't get the same smooth follow-through that you do when they're all the same color. Moving to the commodity basket, crude oil, man, down $2.46, trading 58.58 last. That's a drop of over 4%, or $2,460 per contract traded. Gold up $87.80, trading 42.0410 last. That's a gain of almost 2.25%. Silver up $2.68. Make that 69 cents. Trading 53.44 last. That is a gain of over 5.25%. Now keep in mind, when the price of silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. Silver's up $2.67. That's about $12,500 roughly per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei up 220 points, Shanghai down 2, Hang Seng up 226, almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 11, the DAX up 292, 1.25%. The CAC up 85, a little over 1%. Hang on. Sorry about that. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And yes, it is a mixed Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. Let's take a look at the global news first. Well, this is global / Capitol Hill. The House reconvenes today and is expected to vote on a Senate bill to reopen the government. The vote comes on the 43rd day of the U.S.'s longest shutdown. 7 Democrats and 1 independent joined 52 Republicans to pass the Senate bill, which would fund much of the government through January. I know, it's crazy, right? We just went through all this, now we got to go through it again in January. The Agriculture Department, which facilitates SNAP food benefits to 42 million Americans, would be funded through September of 2026. That's a good thing. The bill does not extend COVID-area health care subsidies for 24 million people who purchased plans under the Unaffordable Care Act. Democratic leaders had sought to make reopening the government conditional on providing health care for those who are in this country illegally. Now, don't get me wrong. I want every person who doesn't feel well to have the best medical care possible. But if you're a farmer in Idaho, plowing that field, paying your taxes, doing the right thing, if you want to give money to someone who's here illegally because they're sick and need to go to the doctor, okay, well, that's fine. But for the government to reach into your pocket and just take your money and use it for reasons it was never intended to be used for, that's just wrong, okay? How do we solve our health care crisis? I don't know. I just know that paying for the health care of people who have no legal right to be in this country, well, maybe they should go home. I don't know. An Arctic blast swept across the eastern half of the U.S. this week, driving temperatures 15 to 25 degrees below average and affecting over 190 million people. First major winter storm of the 2025-26 season was fueled by a sharp dip in the jet stream that pulled polar air from Canada nearly 3 weeks before meteorological winter officially begins December 1st. And the first 3 of 30 original Bob Ross paintings were sold at an auction yesterday in Los Angeles, with additional sales planned in London, New York, and Boston. Auction earnings will be given to U.S. public television stations, which saw $1.1 billion in federal funding cuts this year over concerns of bias and obsolescence. The pieces sold yesterday are Cliffside, $115,000, painted in 1990. Home in the Valley, $229,000, painted in 1993. And Winter's Peace, $318,000, painted in 1993. Now, Bob Ross, he's that guy that you used to see on TV on your local public access television or PBS station. And he literally was painting and teaching you how to paint at the same time. Ross was known for his calm demeanor and catchphrases like happy little trees. He hosted 403 episodes of The Joy of Painting from 1983 to 1994, following a 20-year U.S. Air Force career. He died from lymphoma in 1995 at age 52. All right, moving to Wall Street. The agony of flying in the U.S. will likely continue even with the shutdown deal nearly in place. With the government shutdown entering its 43rd day, the House now takes up the Senate's compromise deal to reopen the government, with a series of votes scheduled to begin tonight. They act like there's no urgency to this thing. It just blows my mind. House Speaker Mike Johnson will have to navigate a razor-thin majority to ensure passage, which is expected to happen. But experts in the government say air traffic can't ramp up even with a signed deal in place, and it could take some time to return to normal. Now, when air traffic controllers went on strike under the Reagan administration, he fired them. Trump, on the other hand, just ain't going to pay them for the time they took off. But the ones who showed up for work every day, he wants to give each of them a $10,000 bonus. So what happens for Thanksgiving? Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy asked incredulously during a news conference yesterday at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. But right now, he's just worried about the coming weekend. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will see massively more disruption if the government doesn't open. is going to radically slow down. We feel there are going to be significant issues in the airspace. There will be real disruption. I think it will be more than 10%, he said, about flight cancellations. Thus far, already 5 million passengers have been affected by shutdown-related flight disruptions, and the cost to the airlines, huge. Atlanta Federal Reserve President Raphael Bostic announced today he will retire at the end of February when his current term ends. Bostic has been at the helm of the Atlanta Fed since 2017. He's the first African American and openly gay president of a regional Federal Reserve bank in its 111-year history. Now, he's a hawk. In other words, he's not keen on lowering interest rates. So, see ya. And right after he leaves, we get rid of Jerome Powell. And then President Trump can do some of the things that he's built out AI data centers in Texas and New York. The company says the data centers will be constructed with the help of FluidStack, which helps build out massive GPU clusters. According to Anthropic, the investment will create up to 2,400 construction jobs and 800 permanent positions when the data centers come online in 2026. President Trump is expected to host a private dinner tonight at the White House with several top business executives, including J.P. Morgan Chase Chief Executive Jamie Dimon. The gathering, which will also include the NASDAQ Chief Executive, underscores Trump's effort to deepen ties with corporate leaders as his administration rolls out new initiatives aimed at strengthening U.S. capital markets and rebuilding critical domestic supply chains seen as vital to national security. Lawmakers are trying to get the government opened by this evening. A deal to end the shutdown is set for its final stop on Capitol Hill tonight, when the House of Representatives will gather for the first time in 54 days to try to send the bill to President Trump's desk, which no doubt he won't waste any time getting it signed, and he'll actually use his own hand and pen. You know, in the White House, there's a hallway that has a portrait of every American president. Did you know that Trump replaced Biden's portrait with a picture of the auto pen? Ouch, that bites. Sorry, Biden. Actually, shame on his wife and all those other folks who knew he was not up for the job of being president. Anyway, for every mega AI deal that has rolled through, lifting investor hopes that the AI transition is here to stay, well, there's a revival of jitters. Whether it's chatter of an asset bubble, impatience for AI-fueled returns, or fears of ill-considered investments. A robust earnings season has helped calm those worries, even as economic warning signs have started to pile up. Some observers have pointed to a broadening rally and the prospects of other sectors playing catch-up to the tech giants as reasons for optimism not directly tied to the fate of the AI trade. Well, that's evidenced in the NQ and how far it's down today. A key lawmaker has announced that the House of Representatives will formally consider a stock trading ban once the government reopens, but it will be done in a way that creates uncertainty about when, or perhaps even if, lawmakers will face an up or down vote on the issue. We all know Nancy Pelosi became a gazillionaire from her insider trading. Speaker Johnson, according to Representative Anna Luna of Florida, Speaker Johnson has notified me that as soon as we return and the government is reopened, the bill to ban insider trading is going to be marked up in committee. How has this not been illegal since the creation of Congress? Luna is part of a group of lawmakers pushing a measure to ban all lawmaker trading and calling the move a big win for America. This just might get us some folks in the House and in the Senate who are actually there, not just to fill their own pockets, but for the good of the American people. Wouldn't that be something? Speaking of Capitol Hill, a major pro-life organization is investing tens of millions of dollars into next year's elections. Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America, and Women Speak Out, which is a PAC, partner organization, will invest $80 million to maintain pro-life majorities in the House and Senate in the midterms. SBA is prioritizing the Senate races in North Carolina and Georgia to defeat Democrats Roy Cooper and John Ossoff. The organization will spend $4.5 million on each race. The organizations plan to reach 10.5 million voters across the country through canvassing, digital advertising, voter contact mail, and an early voting campaign. SBA has already achieved 500,000 voter visits from canvassers this year in North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, and South Carolina. President Donald Trump won 91% of the pro-life vote in 2024 and would not have been victorious if 1 to 2% of those voters had stayed home, according to CNN. Okay, forget I ever said that. Please. Sydney Sweeney has great genes and apparently also great PR training. When a journalist from GQ pressed Sweeney on her controversial denim campaign for American Eagle, Sweeney demonstrated how to navigate the carefully laid traps that leftists have successfully used on dissidents for years, until now. If you haven't seen that interview, just Google it. Sweeney GQ interview. That girl has a future, perhaps in something other than acting. An island nation has banned smoking and the use of other tobacco products for younger people in its country. Starting November 1st, the Maldives put a prohibition on smoking for those born on or before January 2007. Essentially individuals who are 18 or below, making it the only country in the world with such a generational ban. The Maldives president ratified the Tobacco Control Amendment back in May, calling it a landmark generational ban aimed at safeguarding public health and protecting future generations from the harmful effects of tobacco. But it wasn't until this month that the law officially changed. The new provisions also ban anyone under the age of 21 from purchasing tobacco products and outright outlaw e-cigarettes and vaping products for people of all ages, and all tobacco advertising is banned. Some of you are old enough to remember there used to be cigarette commercials on TV here in America. Remember the Benson and Hedges one? First, well, there was the Marlboro Man. Okay, of course you remember that. But there was two guys in the jungle. One named Benson, one named Hedges. They were like professors or something, and they had on those little hats they wear in the jungle. Pith helmets, are they called? And one's calling out Benson, the other one's calling out Hedges, and then they come together, and then they make this silly long cigarette. Did you know that advertising has an awards ceremony like like the Emmys? It's called the Clio Awards. They don't televise it, but I love a good commercial. I've been in sales all my life, so advertising, something that gets people's attention, has always been something I'm actually pretty good at. CableTV.com, an online platform that provides cable information, news, and access to new customer discounts, is searching for its next chief of cheer. The job pays $2,500 to watch 25 holiday movies in 25 days. The chief of cheer will also get a signing bonus, free subscriptions to DirecTV, Hulu, Disney Plus, and Hallmark Plus, plus a comfy blanket perfect for binge watching. This year, CableTV.com will also donate $2,500 to the Chief of Cheer's charity of choice through Givinga. Applications close at 1:59 a.m. Eastern on December 4th. The winner will be announced December 5th. How do you sign up? Google, how do I get paid to watch holiday movies? Good. The CEO of a company that provides paid protesters for events is asking members of Congress to pass a Transparency in Political Demonstration Act that would expose the groups hiring demonstrators to attend events around the U.S. Adam Swarf is the head of Crowds on Demand, a company that, according to its website, provides services for impactful advocacy campaigns, demonstrations, PR stunts, crowds for hire, and corporate events. News Nation obtained the letter Swart wrote to Congress on November 11th, demanding greater transparency over who hires protesters. Now, just like this TPUSA event that happened over the weekend, 500 of the tickets available were bought up by protesters. See, they wanted to make the event hall look empty. So they just let 500 people in for free because there were so many people trying to get in. The event was sold out. And you know about the tragedy, of course, I'm sure, that followed all that. Okay. We better get to the local news, lest we run out of time. And by local news, yes, I mean Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis, it's also crude gold and silver. We're currently in week 380. That's a little over 7 years. Over the last 380 weeks, we've issued over 20,900 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Every Logic alert has an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. The purpose of the Logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. Can you trade them? Well, yeah, sure. But make sure you use them to learn how to read the chart. Even if you never trade an alert, please use them to learn to read the chart. Because if you don't learn how to read a chart, you're never going to become a consistently profitable trader. Now, learning to read a chart doesn't mean you're going to become a consistently profitable trader, but at least you'll have a fighting chance. That's the reason behind Logic 247. Now, this week alone, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, when Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, we had issued a total of 32 alerts. Since then, I've issued, I think, another 13 or 14. But at the time of the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 11. That gave us 21 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 5% would have been stopped out. Again, just based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. 380 weeks is a very long time, but before that brainchild, we had our original alert service years before, concierge trade alerts. Now, they're different in a lot of different ways, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'm just going to point this out. They don't come out around the clock like the logic alerts. See, the logic alerts can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. as opportunity presents. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. But the CTAs, they come out 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. So this Wednesday session that we're in began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And all of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before the market opened. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, NQ, gold, and silver. As we go through the individual markets in granular fashion, as we do each day, and you see these targets drawn on the chart, just remember, if you were one of our traders, you would have had those targets 5 minutes before the market even opened. So with that, we can actually go to the chart, and we'll start where we always do with the S&P 500 Emini futures. Now we got something strange going on. Friday, we got our bearish signal, big picture. Yesterday, we got a bullish big picture signal. You see, price always reverts to the mean. And in our case, the mean is green. It's that green line you see. We call it the BBC. Stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Once you have a candle open and close above the green line, then we're bullish and expect higher prices. Like I said, price always reverts to the mean. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Once we got this signal right here on April 25th, we're now officially bullish versus bearish. And the first pullback held, and the second pullback held, and the third, and the fourth. And the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the eighth. Every single pullback held. We had this monster pullback that lasted 6 days. You see, every single one of those daily candles is touching the BBC, the green line. That 6-day pullback led to new all-time historic highs, both intraday and closing. But last Friday, we had a candle open and close below the BBC. Under normal conditions, that means we'd be seeing a lot lower prices today. But the thing flipped on us. Yesterday, we had a candle open and close above the BBC. So we got our big bearish signal we've been waiting on for months. And the thing flipped right around and gave us a long signal. I don't recall this ever happening in the history of going back to, well, as far back as I can remember. Let's put it that way. And what do we got today? We got a doji. That means, well, indecision. Now, all alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. There's nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago, and I've stuck with it. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday. Over here's Tuesday. If I scroll back, you'll see Monday. Now, when price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Resistance. We finally overcame the resistance. And then this was the open last night. We're above the BBC, so we expect higher prices. Had you bought the open at 68.74, 19 points up to the long target. 19 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Now, when the market finds resistance, it's going to go look for support. And where did it find support? At the short target. See this bullish cross right here? That's where the blue line gets above the green line. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. Look at the horizontal line on my cursor. You see it? See the bullish cross right here? And you see the low of this candle? Support has now sent the market looking for resistance. Remember, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Like right here, this pullback held until it didn't. Now the question is, will this pullback hold? If this pullback holds, then we'll see a leg to the downside. If the pullback doesn't hold, then we'll be in price discovery mode. The highest weekly zone this week is up at 70.19/70.20. This zone, 68.41/42, that's been a zone 2 weeks in a row. Next month, on the 14th, that will make 16 years that we've published the weekly zones for our members. And you know what's changed in all those years? Absolutely nothing. Here's the Dow. Yesterday, as you can see, we made a climb. Then the step line crossed blue and climbing. See how they're running parallel? Step line's on the left side. When that step line crosses to the right side of blue and climbing, you should expect a retracement to the BBC, which we got. Support will send the market looking for resistance. Okay. Now, this is the highest weekly zone for this week. Today is only Wednesday. 48.420/25. Now, what happened here? Is there anything we can tie that to? I don't believe there is. Unless you go, I don't think there's anything you can tie that to. The truth of the matter is, when price reached the high, no trader, when price got to 48.528, no trader on planet Earth was willing to pay one more tick. And when buyers stop buying, this is what happens. Now the step line has crossed blue and climbing. We're consolidating at the zone. When price encounters a weekly zone, only one of three things happens. 70% of the times consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, 10% of the time the slice. This candle off the Wall Street Open did slice through the zone. When it ran out of steam, it retraced to the zone it sliced through. Now it's attempting to continue in the direction of the slice. Only one of three things happens. when you look at the markets, you go, well, there's just infinite possibilities. Yeah, but we figured out a way to narrow it down to 3. Who'd have thought? Russell. Yesterday we found support at the zone. Monday we found support at the zone. First we found resistance at the zone. And then support. A lot of consolidation. We opened here last night. Now the zone is 2459/2460. What's the low of this candle? So we missed it by a few ticks. Okay. Buyers came in early. Support sent us right up to the long target. Resistance sent us back to the BBC. Support sent us looking for resistance. And you see this little double top over here from Monday? That's this resistance right here. That sent us back to the top side of the long target. And we got the jump, okay, on the Russell. Now, it still has one more zone way up there. Let's do a quick peek. Today's high on the Russell. Right here, you had a bearish cross. The first time price revisited that area, it became good resistance. People ask me, how far left do I have to look? As far as you need to. That's how far you had to look. Resistance sends the market looking for support, which it found at the weekly trading zone. That bounced us up to resistance at the BBC. Plus we have red and falling overhead. So basically, from zone to zone, back to the zone. The NQ. Yesterday we had resistance at the zone, we had support at the zone, support at the zone area. Zones are an area. This was the open last night. We made a nice little run. Now we're above the BBC, so we expect higher prices. We opened at 668. Call it 670. And ran 90 points at $20 a point. You bought the open. This move right here is worth $1,800 per contract traded. Now we ran into some resistance here. If you look left, you see why. Okay. That sent us back to the zone support, which sent us back to the long target resistance, back to the BBC, resistance at red and falling, and then we dropped all the way to the short target, which is based off this right here, where red turned to blue. Crude got hammered. This is where we opened last night on crude. We got below the BBC. We hit the short target right off the London Open. Here's a London Open. This was the 3:30 candle. London opens at 3 a.m. Eastern. So we hit it. Then we come down to the zone, which we expect to be support until proven otherwise. Bounces up to the BBC, the pullback holds. Resistance always sends the market looking for support. So we consolidated for an hour and a half at the zone, and then we dropped 1, 2. Now see, when we got to this zone, we caught a little bounce, okay? And then we continued down. This zone got a little bounce. Now we could be headed for the lowest weekly trading zone, down at 56.95. $57. But you'll notice the step line is trying to cross red and falling. See on the way down how they ran parallel? Once that black step line gets on the right side of red and falling, look for price to retrace to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is that green line right there. Gold. Big day. The open last night was 41.30. We'll call it 41.33. Ran up $1,400 per contract traded to the target. It took an hour, 2 30-minute candles, and then we went above it. And we stopped right here because of this market structure. Resistance will always send the market looking for support, which it found at the short target. Let's say you got a short right here. This candle opened at 41.30 down to 41.12. That's $1,800 per contract traded. And why did price stop there? Just look left. It's right there. So support will send the market looking for resistance. Got above the BBC, the pullback held. Then it hit the zone, pullback held. Now we've overcome not only today's long target, but this is this week's highest weekly trading zone, 41.43/44. Now by close of business Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, we would expect gold to be at or below the highest weekly zone. Last week, all 4 of the major indices on Friday traded below the lowest weekly trading zone. But by close of business last Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, every one of the major indices, the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, were all above the lowest weekly zone. So it's flying high. Enjoy it. You see the step line starting to angle to the right. If it crosses blue and climbing, then look for a retracement back to the BBC. Silver. Now, is that the highest weekly zone on silver? It is. Yep. This right here. Highest weekly zone. So we opened last night. Now, you only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. So the opening candle, we're above the BBC. We're above blue and climbing. We opened at 51.08 and ran up to 51.28. It's $1,000 per contract traded in that one candle right there. Resistance, look left, you'll find it. We'll always send the market back to support, back to resistance, back to support. Now, could it be that the tail of this candle right here perfectly aligns with the bullish cross? When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. And I got to say, this is really good support. Look where we are now. Remember, when the price of silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. We opened last night at, what was it again? We opened at 51.08. So at 52.08, that's $5,000. At 53.08, that's $10,000. Now we're starting to consolidate. The step line's starting to hook to the right. That step line crosses blue and climbing. Look for retracement back to the BBC. 53.39 on silver, man. That's quite something. And on the ES Daily, we still got a doji. And Michael should be here momentarily. I rushed through that so I could get it all done before his arrival. So, I guess we'll wait. We'll see what happens. He'll be here in a minute. I know he had some issues earlier this morning, but I think those resolved themselves. Now, when we looked at the ES a few minutes ago, remember we had a big green candle all the way up to the VVC, but that's resistance. When the black step line and or red and falling get directly below price, they become potential support. So right now, price is trapped on the ES. You got resistance at the BBC, which is 68.79 and change. And then right here, you got support at 68.67. So one of two things has to happen. Price has got to break through the support, or it's got to break through the resistance. It will do one of the two. Keep in mind, if we break through the BBC here, you got a bearish cross right there. Okay. So what do you do in a situation like this? Nothing. You got to wait. There's no clear signal right now. So you wait. When you have a clear signal from your roadmap chart, that's what I call my 30-minute, the roadmap. It tells me if I want to take short trades, long trades. See, like over here. So obvious I want to take a long trade. So yes, I could just buy the open of this candle at 68.54, which ran all the way up to 66. Or when I spot this opportunity, I can go to my range chart and enter with surgical precision. But see, when price is above the BBC and you got blue and climbing, this is the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. That's a call for higher prices. Now, I would have expected resistance right here, but we overcame it. We already did this, right? Yeah. See this bearish cross. Where is that? Come on now. Or this long target was based off this double top back on November 3rd. So how far do I have to look back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. And we kind of nailed it. You can nail it too. You just got to learn how to read the chart. That's why I preach at you every day. Use the logic alerts to learn how to read the chart. Pretty soon, you won't need the alerts, because you'll be able to read the chart just like I do. After you learn how to read the charts, you may develop your own style of interpretation. That's fine. But before you can develop your own interpretation, you first just got to learn to read the basics. Where to expect support? Where to expect resistance? Now keep in mind, with the Logic 247 alerts, for 7 years of alerts, over 20,900 individual handcrafted alerts. We've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less getting stopped out. So if you're still in that headspace of trying to find some way to never get stopped out again, you're fighting a losing battle. It not only does it not exist, it cannot exist. Oh, I bet those professional traders, they've figured out a way. No, they haven't. What they've learned is they've learned how to take a stop out with grace and dignity and just go look for the next opportunity, like you see Michael do every morning in the live training room. Speaking of Michael, he's here.
I'm here. 8 times today. I had to suck it up and just keep trading.
Dude, look at silver.
Wow.
That's almost a $15,000 move.
Yes, that is a lot. Wow.
But now it's based on a futures contract, yeah. I mean,
yeah. Should have bought just micros on that. That would have been great.
Yeah. And we got a doji on the day on the ES. We had our big picture bearish signal, and then yesterday we got our big picture bullish signal. And today, so far, we got the doji. So I'm looking for resistance right here at 69.07. We almost got there.
It looks
6,900 and a half. Yeah. Okay. So Michael's going to give us a recap of everything that happened in the live training room this morning, do a little live trading if he has time. Then I'll come back and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
All right. Here we go. Here. You know what I think? I'm going to start keeping a separate spreadsheet for this session.
Okay.
So yesterday I typed everything into it yesterday at the end, and I just overwrote it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I do try to do it every day, so
good idea.
Good stuff.
All right. Okay, looks good.
All right, here we go. Let's get here. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 12th day of November, 2025. If you haven't taken a free trial with us, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button, and it will bring you to this registration page where all that we ask is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, make sure you give us your TradingView login ID down here. Okay, give us that, and we will get your indicators indicating on your desktop for you. Now, we had a pretty good day today. We had a bunch of trades, 57. I thought we had more than that, but 57 trades is still a good amount. It's like a trade every other minute is what I had this morning. Yesterday was a trade every other minute, and today was about the same thing, trade every other minute. So sometimes I had more than one on at a time. There were quite a few times today. I think I had a couple trades on at a time. Anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We're up 236 ticks on the NQ. We're now on the NQ, 236 ticks was that the high of the day? That was the high of the day on the NQ. 236 was the high of the day. On the YM, we were at -4. And the high of the day was -1. I think. No, I'm sorry. The high of the day was +5. That doesn't make sense. The high of the day was -1, I think. I have a 5 in there, but then it goes right to -14. So something was off in there. Anyway, the high of the day was -1 on the YM. We ended up with -4. On the golds, we ended up with 32, and the high of the day on that, I believe, was 47. Yeah, the stop out on gold was our last trade of the morning session. On the ES, we ended up with -13, and the high of the day on that was -2. So the YM in the ES, we never got above 0. Today took 9 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,300. So 10 contracts or 130 with one, and we took a total of 57 trades with 8 stop outs today. So we averaged 85.96% of our trades were break even or better this morning. On the month now, that puts us at $6,485 over 5 trading days, averaging $1,297 per contract per morning session. Let me bump this up here. Okay, bump this up here. Okay, sorry. Where was I? $1,297 per morning session. That's what it is. Okay, we've gotten our goal 195 out of 195 days that I've traded so far this year, and we've now gone 37 trading days since my last non-green day, and 604 trading days since my last red day. So now on the year, we're at $237,297, or 195 trading days, averaging $1,216 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And following the 24/20 blueprint, so far this year, you'd be at 11 contracts right now, adding 1 per month. And to be able to add 1 per month, you have to earn $2,000 per contract per month. So this month, this number is going to have to be 22,000 by the end of the month. Last month, it had to be 20,000. The month before that, it had to be 18, then 16, then 14, then 12, then 10, then 8, then 6, then 4, and 2. So we've been doing more than the requirement every month. Now, and the reason we end up with those numbers is because these numbers are not all 1,000. If every one of these was 1,000, then these would all go by 2,000 every month. They go up by 2,000 times the number of contracts every month. Okay. But because we, that day we had 115, we had 170, 120, and today we had 130 worth 1 contract. That's why there's a difference in there. So the total number of hours is 27.38 hours we worked so far this year, getting the goal for the day. And if you were to quit trading at that point, you would be up 185,792, adding 1 contract per month. That gives you an average of $6,784 per hour. Now, this number right here, for those of you guys who don't know, this is what when we started with 13 contracts at the beginning of 2024, and we went in August. By the end of August, that is what the average hourly rate was. Okay, this year we started with 1 contract, and we're still going. We didn't quit in August, but we're still going. So hopefully by the end of the year, with 1 contract, we'll be at, I don't know. I don't know how much it's going up every time we have a trade. Every time we have let's see. It's $6,784 per hour right now, and let's just say we have 150 tomorrow, $6,784 per hour. Okay, I'm going to put in some minutes. Let's say it takes 10 minutes tomorrow. 6,784. Okay, so it went up $20 based on that. So with the remaining, let's say it goes up $10 a day, and we have another 15 days this month. We do have a holiday this month at the end of the month where we're going to have probably 2 days off. Let's just check that right now. We didn't get this one off. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trading days left this month. So that would send it up $200. And then next month, if we go into December, Christmas is on a Thursday. So we'll have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 days next month. So that's what, 21 plus 10, 31 days. And if we go up an average of 10 per day, that would get us to 7,000. So it's not going to get above that number, but it'll get pretty close to it, starting with 1 contract at the beginning of the year. Sorry, fun with the numbers. You know what, I'm going to have to keep going. Anyway, that's where things stand. All right, let's go back over here and we'll go through the trades. The NQ had the most trades today. Gold was right there with it too. So I'm just going to start with gold and we'll go across. Okay. Gold did not have a trade here because it didn't come out of the R sold. Hang on, I gotta watch my phone because nobody's watching it right now. Don't know how they went. She left. All right. Let's hit control and back on this. And hit control and go all the way back. Here. Okay. Let's double click here, and there we have it. All right, so this is gold. The first trade on gold, we picked up 5 ticks right there. Then 3 more there to get us to 8. Then we stopped out, and that put us at -7. Then we got 5 to go to -2. Then we stopped out again, put us at -13. Then we got +25, that got us up to 12. Then 5 more to 7. Actually 17. And then we went to 23 and 25. And I had a lot of 1-tick trades in here today. 26, 36, and then we stopped out, went down to 21, 26. We went to 41 on this trade and 47 on this trade, and then we stopped out. So we're in here. And there it is right there at the end. We stopped out on that one. That was our last trade of the morning session. We went back down to 32 after that. So that's where we ended it with gold. Now, during the break, we had a long trade right there. That was nice. We had a short trade right there. That would have worked out okay. This was not one right here. Okay, this was it right here. The next trade would have been nope, that wasn't it either. Wow. The next trade would have been right here. Was one. There's one there, and this was not a trade here because that one didn't go the full cycle. And this was a trade right here. That would have been okay. And that was nothing. This would have been a trade right here. That would have been a nice trade. Right there would have been a nice trade. Let's see. All the way over here. Would have been an okay trade right there. It would have taken a while, but it would have been an okay trade to take. And that gets us here. We need a down close followed by an up close right now. Down close followed by an up close. There's the down close. Now we need an up close on that gold, and we'd have a trade. There it is right there. Okay, so it's a long trade here on gold. Here it is right here. And it hasn't gone to break even yet. Hopefully it will. And I'll keep you updated on that. I'll just leave it here. We can watch it. Stick it right over there. Because we're going to move off of gold now. We ended up with plus 32 on gold. And that's going to go 5 ticks in profit to go to break even. And it just did, and it just took me right out. So I ended up with nothing on that gold trade. Okay. Okay. Ended up with nothing on that gold trade. Now on the YM, let's see. On the YM, we Dwayne, are you there? On the YM, let's go all the way back here. It's 114. Yeah. So on the YM, we started out oh, that's what it was. It was minus 15. That's what it was. On the YM, we started out with a minus 15, then we went to minus 14, then we went to minus 9. Okay. So our high on the day, we did finish at the high of the day on the YM with minus 4. That's what that was, minus 15. That makes more sense now. All right. This is gold, though. Let's go to the YM. Sorry. Get distracted. I'm watching my father-in-law on the camera, and he's trying to get up. I think that's going to turn into a mess. So if I have to go really quickly, that's why. Second fold. All right, so our first trade here on the YM was a stop out. We're at minus 15. Then we picked up 1 tick there to get us to minus 14. Then picked up 5 ticks to get us to minus 9. Then we had a break even, another break even. Then went from minus 9 to minus 8. Then minus 8 to minus 4. And I didn't write that in, whatever that was. We had a break even, another break even. And that was it, I think, on the YM. So I didn't write in whatever that last positive trade was right here. But I don't think it was much. Actually, I think it was this one. I didn't write that one in. I think it was break even. I don't think it was a positive trade. During the break, let's see, during the break, it was not a lot. There was one trade right here during the break. So far, anyway, it was not a lot. Right here was a trade during the break. Right here was a trade during the break. Those are all good so far. That was one that would have stopped you out right there. This was okay. That would have been a decent trade right there. And that was it during the break. Wait, this was one right here too. That would have been a break-even trade. And that was it during the break on the YM. Okay. On the ES now. Let's do this control back on ES. All right, so we were never positive on the YM. We started out with a minus 15. That's what looked weird. It was not a minus 1, then to plus 5. It was a minus 15. So our high for the day on the YM was minus 4. On the ES, we also started out with a stop out right there, minus 10. Then we went to minus 2. And then we stopped out again to minus 12. Then went to minus 11. We had a break even, another break even. Then we picked up something there that I did not write in. Okay, we stopped out again in here somewhere. We went from minus 11 to minus 21. And then right here we picked up 8 ticks. So I don't know where we stopped out again. This was a valid trade right here that I didn't get. It was probably right over here. I probably stopped out on that one right there. Okay, and that put us at minus 21. Then we had a break even and a plus 8 put us at minus 13. So our high for the day on the ES was minus 2. All right, now during the break, it looks like this was a valid trade right here. Having the colored midpoint makes it kind of easy. Let's go along. It's got to be flat, and it's got to come across it when it's flat. See, if this were given a down close right there, it would have been a trade. But this right here, the blue, or close above it, that's a valid trade right there. That's nothing. See, it's not flat in here, so nothing. And that was it. So we had a couple of trades, and they were both okay on the ES during the break. Now, the NQ. The NQ has a whole bunch of trades. So let's get all the way back to the beginning here on the NQ. All the way back to the beginning here. All right, so Our first trade here on the NQ, we started out with 3 ticks. We picked up 7 more to get us to 10. Then we stopped out to minus 15. Then went to plus 9. Then plus 10. Then we went to plus 55. And didn't do anything for a little while. Went from 55 to 63, then 63 to 69, 69 to 73, then 73 to 118. Break even, then 118 to 163. Then we went from 163 to 191 somewhere. I missed one. Then went from 191, stopped out down to 166. From 166 to 174, 174 to 175, 175 to 176, 176 to 221. So that was a 45 tick trade there. And 221 to 233, 233 to 234, 234 to 235, and 235 to 236. And that is how we ended it on the morning session. Or the NQ. All right, so that, let's see. I don't know that we're going to have any time for any trades. So we had just one break-even trade so far this session. This right here would have been a long trade. That would have been okay. This would have been a short trade that would have stopped out. This would have been a nice long trade there. That would have worked out okay. This would have been a long trade that would have worked out fine. This would have been a nothing. This would have been nothing, nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. This would have been a nice trade right there. And that would have been a nice trade right there. Right there. Right there. Nothing, nothing.
When you're done, I'm probably going to be away from my desk for a few minutes.
Okay.
So if you want to just shut it down, as soon as I get back to my desk, I'll shut the YouTube part down. But
okay, all right. Because Phil's trying to get up, so I got to kind of run down there and help.
Okay, you want to call it now?
Well, let me just finish going through this, and then
okay,
and then we'll call it in just a sec. If you got just like a minute.
I got a couple minutes.
It's along there. There was a long there, along there. All those were good trades. A short there was okay. And that's pretty much it. All right, so let me just do this. We'll say, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingIQ.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button, and it's going to be a registration page. Just fill out the registration page. Once you do that, we'll send you everything you need to get into the room in the morning. Today, we finished with $1,317 per contract, 236 on the NQ, -4 on the YM, plus 32 on gold, -13 on the ES. So that's where we stand, right? On the day, the month, the year, all that stuff. And with that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. There you go.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 9 minutes and 3 trades to get to $1,300. There it is. I can see your charts.
Good job. Guys, I normally wrap it up with a good word for the day, but I got something I got to do like right now. So I'm going to play the outro, and I'll see y'all in the morning. Okay? All right. And good luck on your end there, Michael, with your situation. He's already gone.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.